The Galactic Council's wilderness test was legendary for all the wrong reasons. Across 300 species and 7,000 years, the survival rate hovered at a grim 10%. Most candidates returned broken, starving, barely clinging to life. Many never returned at all. Jack Morrison stood before the crystalline gates of the testing grounds on Viridian 7, a death world classification that made even the hardiest Corinthian warriors pause. The planet's atmosphere was barely breathable. Its predators were apex killers from 3 different evolutionary chains, and its weather patterns could shift from scorching heat to freezing blizzards within hours. Human, the Zenthari administrator clicked its mandibles nervously. You may withdraw. There is no shame. Your species has only been council members for 2 cycles. Perhaps wait until I'm good, Jack interrupted, adjusting his standard-issue survival pack. The pack contained a knife, a fire starter, a water purifier, and 3 days of rations. Nothing more. Council rules. The administrator's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. The test duration is 30 days. The historical mortality rate, 90%. Yeah, I read the brochure. Jack grinned. See you in a month. The gates opened, and he stepped through. Imogen watched from the observation deck, her knuckles white against the railing. As the head xenobiologist on the human delegation, she tried everything to talk Jack out of this. The wilderness test was a relic from the Council's martial past, a proving ground that served no modern purpose except to maintain some archaic tradition of toughness. He's either very brave or very stupid, commented Ambassador Thelnor, a Vaxian whose species had lost 43 candidates to Viridian 7 over the centuries. Emma didn't answer. She knew Jack. Former survival instructor, grew up in the Alaskan wilderness, could make a 3-course meal from tree bark and moss if necessary. But this wasn't Alaska. This was a planet specifically designed to kill. The first week was standard survival. Jack found water, built shelter, avoided the chrome-scaled hunters that prowled the purple forests. He recognized edible fungi similar to Earth varieties and set snare traps using techniques his grandfather had taught him. On day 8, everything changed. The creature was small, barely the size of a terrier, with crystalline fur that refracted light in rainbow patterns. It was caught in one of his snares, whimpering, its leg twisted at an ugly angle. By all logical standards, Jack should have killed it. Protein was protein. Survival was survival. Instead, he spent 2 hours carefully splinting the leg with branches and vine fiber. The creature, he started calling it Prism, looked at him with intelligent, multifaceted eyes that reminded him of his childhood dog. This is stupid, he muttered to himself, sharing his precious rations. You're probably going to eat my face when that leg heals. Prism licked his hand with a tongue that felt like warm velvet. By week 2, Prism was following him everywhere, the limp almost gone. More importantly, the creature seemed to understand the forest in ways Jack never could. It led him to water sources, growled warnings before the chrome-scaled hunters appeared, and once pawed frantically at the ground until Jack dug up a cache of nutrient-rich tubers. Jack wasn't just surviving anymore. He was thriving. He used the knife to fashion better tools. He tanned hides from the one chrome hunter that had been stupid enough to attack, while Prism kept watch. The pelt was gorgeous, shimmering with an oil-slick iridescence. He made 2 more. Then forged the native 6-legged deer analogs were plentiful, easy to hunt, and delicious when smoked over the right wood. Jack built a smoking rack, processed the meat, and started building reserves. The human habit of preparing for uncertain futures kicked in hard. By week 3, he constructed a semi-permanent shelter with a waterproof roof, a smoking operation producing jerky, and a growing pile of pelts that would make any furrier weep with envy. Prism had become an expert hunting partner, using its natural camouflage to flush prey toward Jack's primitive but effective spear. On day 30, when the extraction beacon activated, Jack almost felt disappointed. The gates opened, and the Galactic Council's representatives waited with medical teams and somber expressions. They were used to retrieving corpses or traumatized survivors who needed immediate psychiatric care. Jack Morrison walked through carrying a leather pack stuffed with smoked meat, dragging a sled loaded with pristine pelts, and accompanied by a happily trotting Prism whose crystalline fur caught the artificial light of the facility. He looked well-fed, tanned, and honestly a bit bored. The silence was absolute. What? The Zinthery administrator finally managed. Is that creature? This is Prism. She's my friend. I'm keeping her. Jack scratched behind the creature's crystalline ears. That's not a problem, right? I didn't see anything in the rules about pets. Emma pushed through the crowd, relief and exasperation warring on her face. Jack, you absolute lunatic. Oh, hey, Emma. He brightened, rummaging in his pack. I brought you something. Figured you'd want samples. He produced carefully wrapped specimens of plants, fungi, and what appeared to be chrome hunter scales. The ecosystem's really interesting. I took notes. Ambassador Thelnor's tentacles hung slack. You took notes. Well, yeah. I had downtime in the evenings. Jack shrugged. Also, I have leftovers if anyone's hungry. The smoked venison turned out great. He pulled out a package of jerky and offered it around. No one moved. A junior Corinthian warrior, one who'd barely survived his own wilderness test and lost an arm in the process, slowly reached out and took a piece. He chewed thoughtfully, his expression shifting from skepticism to shock. This is actually exceptional, he rumbled. Jack beamed. Thanks. The trick is using the blue bark wood for smoking. Gives it a kind of maple-ish flavor. The Zinthery administrator's mandibles clicked in a pattern that Emma had learned to recognize as profound confusion. Human Jack Morrison, in 7,000 years of the wilderness test, no candidate has ever. You're supposed to barely survive, not start a homestead. Oh, Jack looked genuinely surprised. Was I supposed to have a hard time? I mean, it's just camping. Emma covered her face with her hands, caught between laughing and crying. Prism barked something that sounded suspiciously like agreement, and the Galactic Council learned an important lesson that day. Humans didn't just survive hostile environments, they got comfortable in them, and sometimes they made friends along the way.